There are 4 key reasons why releasing trapped emotions, otherwise known as transmuting or energetic healing for mental health, builds inner power so powerfully over time. The first reason is that when you release trapped emotions, you're not only releasing the emotions and difficult energies immediately present, which provides short-term relief, albeit after a bit of discomfort, but you're also releasing some layers of the belief systems holding those trapped emotions within your body-mind system in place. For example, belief systems like, I will never be loved, I am hopeless, or I am guilty, that lead to feelings of hopelessness, anxiety, depression, and a lack of being able to create what you want in your life. As you release more layers of such belief systems over time, they eventually release entirely, leaving you with the realization that they were never real in the first place. They were only held in place by your choosing not to release them, which you did so unconsciously. The complete release of these belief systems enables the profound piece of truth and reality to arise within your body-mind system. Following the release of trapped emotions and the layers of their corresponding belief systems, that sense of relief and the sense of rock-solid and immovable peace that arises from the depths of your being creates even more strength to face the very deepest layers of your false identity structures that prevent you from becoming freer and eventually enlightened. This greater strength, resilience, and empowerment is inner power. As your inner power evolves more and more, your intuition heightens, as does your compassion. A combination of heightened intuition and compassion enables you to operate more effectively in the world, which again feeds into the self-enhancing process of releasing trapped emotions, cultivating inner power, and evolving towards spiritual awakening and eventually enlightenment. Essentially, releasing trapped emotions can take you to very high levels of consciousness, to spiritual awakening and enlightenment. In my case, it has taken me to spiritual awakening thus far. I tried meditation practice for years, and while I loved it in the rare times I could do it, it generally didn't go very well for me. My body-mind system was too full of energetic discordance, driven by decades of psychological abuse, for me to be able to quiet my mind enough for meditation to occur. Sometimes it happened, but more often than not, it didn't. What would often happen instead is that I would give up trying to quiet my mind and instead just simply focus on what I felt. I would lean into my uncomfortable emotions and allow them to flow through me, unfiltered, unjudged, and totally free-flowing, as I've taught in various videos about the art of releasing trapped emotions to greatest effect. Now, at this point, it's worth going briefly over what spiritual awakening and enlightenment actually are, so that it's clear as to why releasing trapped emotions can lead to enlightenment. As one advances their state of consciousness via deep meditation or by energetically healing their thoughts and emotions, for example, their perception becomes more and more subtle, so that the boundaries between me and everything that is supposedly not me dissolve to the point of seeing reality and truth, which is that you, me, and everything are comprised of the same fundamental essence, and that we're all deeply interconnected. Humans, birds, animals, and even rocks and chairs are comprised of the same fundamental essence. At this point of enlightenment, one's perspective of me shifts from being a single human being in a single human body to boundless consciousness, interconnected to all, but just living in one particular body at this point in time. Before that, however, as one spiritually awakens, one can become so free and clear of issues that they experience sustained heightened intuition and profound peace, even in the face of great adversity. I am at this point now. It's very difficult for me to be disturbed by anything when it used to be very easy for me to get triggered by everything. Returning to enlightenment, it's only at this point, beyond just the spiritual awakening process, that the fundamental shift of identity or perspective occurs from small me, contained within one human being, to universal me, interconnected to all. This is the distinction between awakening and enlightenment. In the enlightened state of seeing, because everything is seen as interconnected or one, there is a union or resolution of opposites. Me and you, love and hate, friend and enemy, all is seen as one or me. Because there are no more boundaries between what is seen as me and not me, there are no more opposites. At the point of enlightenment, and often as a result of rigorous practice, discipline, and ethical living, mental health issues have been purified from a person's system, and a deep and profound peace beyond the understanding of the conventional mind and the limits of language floods the person. Practitioners attribute this peace to being no longer identified with a smaller version of self or me. Rather, one sees that they are everything and therefore nothing at the same time. This sounds like an oxymoron, but in fact it makes sense. To realize that you are everything is to realize that you are also nothing in particular at the same time. Realizing that you are at once everything and nothing, and that there are no opposites in fundamental reality, renders the fear of death obsolete, because you would now perceive your consciousness, and hence your sense of self, to expand well beyond a human body and in fact into everything. This in turn renders all fears obsolete, since the fear of death is the root of all other fears. This loss of the fear of death and this disidentification from a smaller sense of self or a smaller me is what gives rise to feelings of profound and immovable peace. That's enlightenment. So then, how can this process of becoming enlightened relate to your everyday, in the moment process of clearing trapped emotions? Well, by being totally okay with so-called negative thoughts and emotions, by, in a sense, bringing them into yourself, by allowing them to flow through you the way they want to, with no judgment or condemnation or separation from them whatsoever, by creating a total union with them, and by collapsing any separation or boundary between you and your thoughts and emotions, hence by resolving any tension between the so-called opposites of you versus your thoughts and emotions, you open all the parts of yourself to yourself. Absolutely nothing is left out. What happens then is that these supposedly negative thoughts and emotions transform or alchemize or transmute into their more pristine state, which is pure awareness. And from this place, peace and personal power can arise. So, via the energetic alchemy of allowing emotions to be exactly as they are, you have experienced in your body-mind system that such emotions are not actually real, they're not you, and they're not what you thought they were. Namely, they're not something solid that's part of you and hence a part of you that you need to fear. When you allowed these emotions to flow, they transformed into what they really are: pure consciousness. So, if your thoughts and emotions are not a solid part of you and are instead pure consciousness, then what does that make you? Perhaps you are pure consciousness too. In this way, clearing trapped emotions can lead to spiritual awakening and even enlightenment if you go deep enough with the process, which is why it is such a powerfully transformative process.